Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another episode, and today we're talking about Beast Morphers episode 4, Artist Anonymous. And this one's quite a nice episode. I feel like this episode has been in the making for some time, and it's meant to come along. But if you like this sort of video and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And with that, let's just jump straight into it. We open up to Ravi painting a mural. We see a lot of kind of like graffiti and stuff like that all over this wall, and I think Ravi's just decided that he wants to kind of just paint over it and make it look really nice. Any Easter eggs on this wall? And I generally thought, could there be any? The only ones that I could really kind of see is the reference to Evox, Zia Ranger 5 at a push, and at a push we have Skull from Mighty Morphing, and I'm gonna push it a bit further. We see Zen written all over, and the only thing that I could think of was Zenaku from Power Rangers Wild Force, because we see Zen written everywhere, and I kind of thought, on that one. We see kind of a montage of Ravi turning around and painting. He paints the wall blue first, and then he paints all the different characters from his drawing that he's originally done, and I kind of like this. He seems really happy with his work, but all of a sudden his mum kind of comes out of nowhere, and he has to kind of make it the excuse. He's like, oh, actually, I've just had to run after a bandit, the person who painted this. He left his stuff here. He's got paint on it from a fight or something like that. And he's trying to really hide it from her. And she's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. And then they just kind of, she kind of runs off. Now we have to remember that his mum does not like any sort of art, because she feels like this is just being wasted, that she would rather like people focus on other things. So this was a big thing. Ravi is now washing his hands at Grid Battle Force, where Nate and Steel kind of walk in, and Nate asks what Ravi has been painting. He responds because he's quite nervous that he's been painting a house, and it's a freshly covered like wall that he's been working on. Devon calls Ravi, and we got the kind of Power Ranger ringtone, the do 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 do. When Ravi turns to Channel 10, he sees a lot of people talking about his painting. They love it, and he's like, oh. Devon turns around and says, like, when did he paint it? His work is amazing. And Ravi's kind of like, yeah, I did this. But as he's kind of walking out to go downtown to actually view it, where loads of people are watching, Nate asks him, hey, how come you lied to us? Ravi opens up and says, my mum hates this sort of thing. She thinks that, art is a waste of time, etc., etc. And Nate goes, he doesn't really care about that. He is hurt that Ravi lied to him. Ravi then says that he won't lie to Nate ever again. We do have this thing with Ben and Betty where they want to get a picture of the mural. They can't get any closer, so Betty decides to go on Ben's shoulders, and he then steps on a skateboard, and they roll all the way to the end. She then jumps up and grabs this kind of like light, so she hangs on from there, while Ben then turns around and runs into a hot dog stand, and then he gets covered with like mustard and ketchup. We now move to Roxy and Blaze, and what they're doing is that they are trying to get into Grid Battle Force. They find a lock and key, or a padlock should I say, and the keys, which again, I wonder why they would have done that. Which then they turn it into Keatron, which I think is his name. I would have called him Locktron, because that would have been kind of cool. He has the ability to open anything that is locked, or close things, like lock them up. So it's kind of a really cool ability. All these monsters that we're seeing have really cool abilities in this. So Roxy and Blaze give him the instruction to get into Grid Battle Force and destroy everything, really make it count. As Keatron gets into the building, we see a bit of a fight because Ravi is there. He has noticed. He morphs in a really kind of cool way in this episode, and they start fighting. As Ravi is fighting Keatron, he actually locks the kind of Beast Blaster. So when Ravi tries to use it, it doesn't work. It just stops working, which I think is a really cool ability. Now we switch to Sentai footage, and I think out of all the episodes of Beast Morphers, this entire fight scene was not done, edited very well in this one. As Nate and Steel have turned up, just kind of walking like, hey, what's up? They decide to take on Keytron, and they just kind of start attacking. They use like kind of a teamwork ability, and I really kind of like that. Steel basically rolls under Keytron's, I want to call him Locktron. Keytron puts his kind of foot on, and that's when Nate actually hits the final blow. Keytron rushes out, he decides to run away. Ravi, Nate, and Steel follow him. They start trying to have a fight. But in the end, when Zoe and Devon are approaching on cruise, Keytron just disappears. He's not going to fight anymore. We now come to the new cyber dimension. I really wish we had a name for it. This is when Evox is having a go at Blaze and Roxy, saying like, you know, their plan failed and the normal stuff that you have. Squirrel has an idea. He wants to turn Keytron into a painter because they have a new paint that can cause destruction and it's explosion, etc, etc. So it's basically like C4. Squirrel then uses MorphX to turn Keytron into a painter, and I was just like, oh, but he's a Frenchman, he can paint. Evox says he's going to bring the paint to Grid Battle Force and actually kind of make it look better so that they can blow a wall into Grid Battle Force. So he then drains MorphX and he becomes the mayor. The Rangers meet up with the commander and the mayor. And the mayor says with the commander that they want to give Grid Battle Force the same sort of mural because it worked really, really well downtown. So they say that they found the actual painter, and Ravi's about to admit that he was the one, but he holds it back because he doesn't want to cause problems, because again, his mum doesn't really like this. They introduce the French painter, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to paint it, and they decide to kind of walk around out of the Rangers' eyesight so that they can start painting. Ravi kind of accepts this, but then wants his mum to know that he paints. So they all rush around and they start talking to the commander and the mayor, and Ravi says, actually, I'm the one who painted this. His mum's like, well, hang on a minute. Earlier, you turned around and said that you were fighting someone. You said that the painter was actually the one that ran away and that's the one you're chasing. And he admits that he was the one painting it. At this point, this is when Keytron and the painters are actually Tronics, and they actually get rid of the disguises. The mayor turns around and goes, oh, I can't believe this, which is kind of really fake, because we all know if they'd hidden this for such a long time, then I think it would be more kind of acceptable. So the commander and the mayor run away. The Rangers are about to morph because obviously we now see Keytron and the Tronics. The Rangers start fighting, but Keytron locks the transpod so they can't actually call any of the weapons. So the Rangers decide that they're going to go in for the attack anyway, regardless that they don't need the weapons. The mayor returns to this new cyber dimension and turns back into Evox, and Evox then starts draining MorphX, and he's really angry at the fact that he wanted to stay as the mayor. But then Squirrel says that he's going to send in a Giga Drone with the same technology that we saw in the previous episode, as well as Keytron's ability, so they can drain MorphX from the buildings, as well as the towers, and also the Megazords too. The Rangers start losing to Keytron, and at this one moment, which I think is a really cool thing, and I would have loved to see more, is the commander runs out. The commander has a blaster as well as the Beast X Ultra Blaster. She is shot down Keytron, and thus therefore the Beast X Ultra Blaster to Devon, and he uses it to attack Keytron. Devon defeats Keytron, and the Giga Drone drops down, and a fight starts off. They use the Ultra Zord to actually start attacking the Giga Drone, and the Giga Drone is defeated quite easily. So the Ultra Zord is called, it's in the dome, and it starts fighting this Giga Drone, and the Giga Drone locks the Ultra Zord completely, so everything's offline, bar rocket boots. You kind of think you'd lock everything down. So the Rangers activate it, and they just squish, this straightaway squish the Giga Drone and destroy it. You kind of think that maybe, because of obviously the weight, that it would happen, but I generally kind of thought, oh, this is something different. What? Ravi and his mum have a heart-to-heart, and he says that the reason why he kept his painting such a secret was because his mum hated it, and she thought that art is a waste of time, and she's hurt from this. She doesn't feel like this for him. She wants him to be the best, and that she'll support him in everything that he does. So this heart-to-heart was really cool, and it was very kind of, I think it was nice character development a little bit. In the end, she's like, please just tell me everything in the future. You know, don't keep these things from me, because she wants to see him grow. She then takes him downtown to the mural where he gets to sign his name and make it kind of official. They have a hug, everything is fine. We then switch to Ben and Betty, and this is kind of annoying because Betty is holding on to the like kind of lamppost, and the fire department are there to kind of catch her. So she lets go, she bounces on this kind of trampoline, and she thinks it's fun, and she's like, you know, I want this to keep happening. When they say you've got to let go, you know, we've got to go, she's like, what, let go of fun? And it generally kind of annoyed me, because it just feels like we had a little bit of comedy in season 1, which was fine, but with this, it just feels kind of like it's the ha ha ha, oh that's so funny that Betty's just bouncing up and down and grabbing onto the light post, ha 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 ha. And then that's when the episode ends. Now, to me, this episode was okay. I really like the connection between Ravi and his mum. I really like to see that Ravi is still painting, and it wasn't just a kind of fad that they had for one episode. And I would like to see more of this. I really like the French painter. I thought he was kind of cool. One thing is when he throws the paint at the Rangers and hits the button for it to explode. I thought like maybe they could have thrown some paint all over the walls at least, and then actually hit the button to kind of make it go boom. That I thought could have been done a little bit better, and also kind of you gave away the surprise straight away. The entire episode is full of kind of more Sentai footage, which I'm generally kind of shocked at, to be fair, because I generally thought they would leave most of the Sentai footage, but I'm guessing they needed it for time, so it was a lot easier. But yeah, it's a not bad episode. If I could change it, I possibly wouldn't have Betty always wanting fun jumping on things. I can see the appeal to it, but if I was the fire brigade, I would have been like, well, I'm going to leave this and then let Betty just get down on her own. So I can see that they're trying more comedy, but the comedy that it's putting in isn't fun. It feels more kind of forced a little bit. And I was hoping that they would kind of move away from that sort of thing. In all, I don't think it's the strongest episode. I do think that the character development between Ravi and his mum was perfect. I generally really like that, and we got over the whole painting issue, etc, etc. So that I'm kind of okay with. But yeah, apart from that, it's an okay episode. Not the best, but I'm looking forward to the next one. So Ranger Nation, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like this episode? Did you not? Are you enjoying Beast Morphers? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And with that, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.